one of the things I wrote recently was um, kind of in response to the fact that I think that a lot of what's out there in terms of spirituality is a lot of dispelling ignorance, right? Or doing away with our illusions, or things along those lines by speakers online and books and publications, and it's all really well-meaning. But I sometimes wonder if we just asked ourselves the right questions, if this would be a little easier. So self-inquiry is a form of that, right? Asking ourselves the right questions. So self-inquiry, usually there's some kind of a question. There's not meant to be an answer. Yeah, it's kind of like a Zen koan. There's not supposed to be a real conceptual answer. It's supposed to be sort of a deeper recognition that comes out of koans or self-inquiry. So, but I have this thing that I wrote and that I do called Spark Questions. And I do these Spark Questions with people occasionally. So I'm gonna just read through these. They're written a little bit like a poem. I'm gonna pause in between each question, and when I pause with me and see if you can go to a place of just kind of openness and listening. Yeah, so not trying to solve these questions, not trying to answer these questions, just hearing the question and letting it sit and letting what happens happen. Yeah? If any of these questions makes you sparks some kind of recognition, right? I call them spark questions because of that. It's like they're not much, but it's enough to start a fire if we're lucky and the conditions are right. If you feel something after one of these questions, for me it always felt kind of like that feeling where you almost trip. It's like you feel something go off kilter. It's like you're about to fall over. If you feel something like that, if you feel the mind drop into silence, if you feel everything get very still, pause the video and just stay there. Yeah? If not, keep listening, go on to the next one, see if anything happens. If nothing happens with any of them, it doesn't matter. We get to spend a few minutes together. Okay? Okay, so here we go. This is called Spark Questions. What if you don't have to walk the spiritual path the way anybody else tells you to? What if presence just is? As itself, by itself, when we put all the effort down? What if awakening has nothing to do with words or pointers? Not yours, not mine, not anybody else's. What if all the videos and books and talks and retreats could be given up for a single moment of silence? What if a simple pause is all that's necessary to find emptiness and wholeness and timelessness? What if psychological integration and healing and maturity are things that happen when we get out of the way rather than when we're trying to fix something? What if there's never actually any problem with what is? What if our unfolding is already perfect? What if all the teachers and gurus who are out to dispel our illusion and correct our ignorance never can? What if their satsangs and donations and hourly rates won't buy freedom? What if our truest teachers are those who simply hold us in love and acceptance and silence until we allow ourselves to be as we are? What if sitting in this silence shows us that silence is actually what we are? What if noticing openness shows us that we are, in fact, openness? What if compassion isn't a position or an ideal or a behavior, but rather the root of our being? What if discovering our own empty formlessness allows us to embrace all that seems to exist, regardless of our ability to describe that existence? What if a mind, feelings, and personality aren't enemies to be destroyed or lies to be denied, but movements of life that arise to be welcomed like all other perceptions? What if we aren't just no one and nothing? Neither are we only everyone and everything, but are in fact unnameable in essence, unbound isness, life that can neither be claimed nor denied. What if here is our real home? What if now is all there has ever been, ever is, and ever will be? What if I'm you and you're me, and we're so empty that we're full of everything, so clear the whole world can be seen through us? what happens if you just stop?